Hello everyone, my name is Ria. I'm a graduate student of Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at University of Florida. I will be presenting my course project for wireless communication for fall 2021. The topic that I've selected for my course project is analyzing the bit error rate performance of different equalizers. The goal of wireless communication is reliable transmission of data signal. Any wireless signal undergoes multipath propagation while traveling from transmitter to receiver except while traveling through line of sight. When multipath propagation occurs, the transmitted signal bounces off of different obstacles before reaching the receiver. Each of these preceding bounced off symbols overlap with the succeeding symbols when they reach the receiver. This causes intersymbol interference, where the neighboring symbol interferes with the current symbol, leading to distortion in the channel. ISI can be alleviated using equalization techniques. In the experiment presented, the bit error rate performance of different equalizers have been analyzed on a BPSK modulated signal. Let us move on to the meaning of equalizers. As discussed, an equalizer acts as a compensator for channel distortion. For channels which have frequency or time varying characteristics, the transmitter and receiver filters cannot be uniform. For such channels, an adaptive equalizer is required to mitigate the ISI caused by multipath propagation. Adaptive equalizers, as shown in the diagram, consist of an array of equalization receivers. The input signals Yk are time delayed by 1 by z. It consists of n time delay elements. The diagram shows n plus 1 tap, and 1 tap is available at every delayed signal element. And the diagrams and the output dk cap is obtained from n plus 1 tunable weights. The dk cap output is compared to the replica or property of the transmitted signal such that we obtain an error Ek. An adaptive algorithm updates the n plus 1 weights using the calculated errors Ek. We can use either recursive least square or least mean square algorithm for this purpose. The weights are adaptive to any change in the input signal to get the best estimation of the transmitted signal. Now let us move on to the types of equalizers. Equalizers are divided into linear and nonlinear. In a linear equalizer, the current and past values of the received signal are linearly weighted by equalizer coefficients and summed up to produce the output. There is no feedback for linear equalizers. In my experiment, the linear equalizer parameters used are number of weights and an adaptive algorithm used to update the weights. The number of weights used is 31, and the algorithm I've used is a recursive least square. This algorithm is known for its fast rate of convergence, but it has increased complexity and computational cost. The most important parameter for RLS algorithm is the forgetting factor. The proportion of the old and new data is adjusted by introducing a forgetting factor. The proportion of old data is reduced when the new data is available, so the algorithm can converge quickly. When lambda is equal to 1, all the previous errors are considered of equal weight in the total error. Here I have considered lambda as 0.99. Linear equalizers do not have a good performance on the channel with deep spectral null or noise. To compensate for the distortion, the linear equalizer adds gain in or near the spectral null frequencies, in turn increasing the noise present in those frequencies. Nonlinear equalization is required when the channel distortion is too severe for linear equalizer to mitigate. Nonlinear equalizers use feedback paths. The nonlinear equalizers that I've used for my analysis is decision feedback equalizer and maximum likelihood sequence estimation. A decision feedback equalizer is a nonlinear equalizer that uses previous detected decision to estimate the ISI on pulses that are currently being modulated. The basic idea of a DFE is that if the value of the symbols previously detected are known, then ISI contributed by these symbols can be cancelled out at the output of the forward filter by subtracting the past symbol value with appropriate weighting references. Here in this experiment, we have considered the decision feedback equalizer parameters as number of feed-forward weights and feedback weight as 15. There is no doubt that decision feedback equalizers perform better than a linear equalizer, but it does not give an optimum um, value for minimizing the probability of error. On the other hand, the maximum likelihood sequence estimation is an optimal equalizer in terms of minimizing the probability of sequence error. It tests all possible data sequences and chooses the data with maximum probability as the output. I have set the MLSE traceback length as 30, and this parameter should be either 6 or 12 times the length of the channel impulse response. I have used a traceback to accumulate the path metric 6 times the length of the channel impulse response. I have set the equalization mode as continuous to enable the harmonious equalization over multiple blocks of data. This equalization requires the knowledge of channel characteristics as well to compute the matrix for decision making. First, I have used cyclic prefix length as 16, and this is also used in single carrier systems to improve the robustness towards multipath propagation. The estimated length of the channel impulse response is one sample longer than the actual length. Let us look into the parameters used for evaluation. Signal to noise ratio is given as EB by E naught. It is calculated in dB, and energy per bit is the total energy of the signal divided by the number of bits contained in the signal. N naught is the one-sided power spectral density of noise, and it can be calculated as shown. Bit error rate can be simply defined as the number of errors divided by the total number of bits. Total number of bits sent. Burst error performance can be defined as a continuous set of symbols such that the first and last symbols are in error and it does not constitute a continuous sequence of n correctly received symbols. It can be interleaved with correct symbols suggesting n equal to 1 multiple times within the burst error length. This concept allows us to evaluate the burst error performance for each of these equalizations. I will now explain the approach for analysis of the bit error rate performance of different equalizers. This experiment shows the bit error rate performance of linear, decision feedback, and maximum likelihood sequence estimator equalization in a static channel with a null in the passband. Basically, noise in the passband. So to input signal parameters, I have initialized an order of 2 for modulation, BPSK modulation, defined the number of BPSK symbols, and defined the samples per symbols. To calculate the bit error rate, I have defined the sampling frequency and I have also defined the symbol rate of the input signal. Then I have defined a phi tap channel impulse response, and on the basis of the length of the channel impulse response, we can define the traceback length and the MLSE equalization. I have set a range for the EB to E naught values as 0 to 14, which will be the range on the graph. And using this EB by E naught, we can calculate the BER. Next, a BPSK modulator is created, and this BPSK modulator signal is passed through for equalization. Later, the equalization parameters have been set, and I have explained in my presentation the different parameters used for different equalization technique. Now, since I've explained the parameters initialized in the MATLAB code, I would like to show you the real-time simulation to obtain the results. This approach consists of various MATLAB scripts to support the simulation of a base code. So this is the base code, and the first script is used to give the input for linear and decision feedback equalizer. Then this one is used to the second one is used to input the BPSK modulator along with noise. And this one is used to input the MLSE equalizer parameters. And this one is the last one, which is used for presenting all the graphs which are obtained in the simulation. So in order to run the simulation, we run the base code. And as the simulation progresses, it simulates an ideal BPSK plot for bit error rate versus SNR. It computes the burst error performance of linear, decision feedback equalization, and maximum likelihood sequence estimation. It shows the signal power spectrum of linear and decision feedback equalizer. It updates a BER plot for comparative analysis of different equalization methods. So, in my PowerPoint, I have only explained linear, decision feedback, and ideal maximum likelihood sequence estimator. Let's return back to the presentation. So let us look at the evaluation of the results obtained from the simulation. The first figure shows the unequalized channel impulse response. The channel consists of very deep nulls, which implies that the signal can be strongly distorted by ISI. The main lobe has a relatively higher amplitude compared to the side lobe, and this means that the main lobe constitutes of 99% of the information. For linear equalizers, the graph which is shown on the left is the signal power spectrum of the linearly equalized signal. The amplitude of the side lobes has increased while the deepness of the nulls is decreased. This shows that the linear equalizer requires many more taps or gains to show optimum performance for a channel with a deep null. As explained previously, linear equalizers will not be of good use for channel with deep spectral nulls. The graph on the right shows the burst error performance of a linear equalizer. It shows small inter-error intervals of 1, 2, 3, 4 between consecutive errors and large number of inter-error intervals greater than 5. In a decision feedback equalizer, the nulls are less deep, as shown in the signal power spectrum. The magnitude of the side lobes is small, and the decision feedback equalizer can mitigate the channel null much better than the linear equalizer. The decision feedback equalizer errors are somewhat bursty due to the error propagation caused by feeding back detected bits instead of correct bits. The burst error plot shows that as the BER decreases, a significant number of errors occur within an inter-error arrival of 5 bits or less. On comparing the DFE output with the linear equalizer output, we get an improved BER. That is, as the SNR increases, the BER of DFE decreases more rapidly as compared to the linear equalizer. The MLSC shows the best BER versus SNR performance. It is extremely bursty at low BER, as shown in the burst error performance. Now to conclude, we clearly saw that the linear equalizers cannot perform well in a higher, when the channel has high noise. It requires more tap or gain to give optimum performance. We even saw that from the output of the graph. The channels with high spectral always uses non-linear equalizers, and they have more amount of bursts. The linear equalizer showed more bursts ranging from 1 to 5. The decision feedback equalizer can mitigate the channel null much better than the linear equalizer, but because of the incorrect decisions looping back, it adds on to more ISI at times, and this is why the decision feedback equalizers are somewhat bursty. Maximum likelihood sequence estimation is optimal in the sense it has the best uh, output for detecting the wrong probability of detecting the wrong sequence, and it has really small bursts as well. Um, and the ideal MLSE showed the best BER performance as well. This brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for watching this video.